Mixed the legends or fantasy with the history, which is the reality. It was verbally spread. There is an invocation to a muse at the beginning of the text. The use of epithets. The gods are characters who appear and coexist with humans. Ornate language is used, and there are a lot of literary figures. The literary figure enumeration appears in several chapters to mention something in more detail. One of the most representative authors of this era was Homer, and his representative compositions were the Iliad and the Odyssey. The history of this fragment of the composition is: in this text, Ulysses, one of the survivors of the Trojan War, is going back to his native island, Ithaca. But along the way, he has to go through many journeys and trials blessed by the gods. The subject: Ulysses is the encounter with oneself. The trip has to be done to meet his own self. Penelope represents fidelity and hope, aspects that she always had, even though her husband had been always for 20 years. The type of narrator is omniscient, third person. The type of character, Odysseus, is the protagonist. The adventures of a hero are told in a poetic narrative. Facts are narrated, but the structure is in verse. It has most of the characteristics of the epic we saw earlier. One of the most representative authors of this era was Krishna Dwaipayana, and his representative composition was the Mahabharata. History is composed of more than 200,000 verses, and it's known as the longest epic poem. It is thought that its author was Krishna Dwaipayana or Vyasa. Was supposed to be a poetic text assembled by many generations. Subject: talks about the battle between the sons of Pandu and Kuru brothers, battled the last 18 years for the throne of Hastinapura. Deliberately was original because before his death, the blind king Dhritarashtra left his throne to one of the new helps, son of Pandu. Therefore, the king's sons claimed the throne. Music was primarily vocal. Rhythm was not noted. Melodic intervals and the range of melodies were generally small during this era. The harmony were not functional during this age. Monophonic texture was predominantly used at the first part of this era, and polyphonic texture began to be used in the mid to late medieval period. The most predominant author in this era was Rodrigo Díaz de Vivar, and his representative composition was the Cantar de Mio Cid. The history of the fragment of this composition is: the poem recounts the adventures of Díaz de Vivar, el Cid, the quincentennial gentleman of the time. It is believed that the historical backgrounds of several episodes of the poem are real, while others are known to be invented. The subject: Díaz de Vivar is expelled by King Alfonso VI because he is accused of treason. The type of characters: primary characters are Cid, Garcia, and Albergabon, and secondary characters King Alfonso and other ones. The Renaissance. The story shows the past of the protagonist's life. The hero dies. The future of the hero is destroyed by terrible events. The innocents suffer. The most representative author of this era was Shakespeare, and his representative composition was Hamlet. The history of the fragment of this composition is a tragedy written by Shakespeare at the uncertain day between 1599 and 1602. Set in Denmark, the play dramatizes the revenge Prince Hamlet is called to wreak upon his uncle, Claudius, by the ghost of Hamlet's father, King Hamlet. The subject. Shakespeare's telling of the story of a Prince Hamlet was derived from several sources. The type of character, main characters Hamlet, Claudius, credited, and others. The Spanish Golden Age, it is often about a national topic. Spanish pride stands out as something heroic. It excels to religion and honor. The language is natural and expressive. The main author of this era was Miguel de Cervantes. The representative compositions was Don Quixote de la Mancha. The history of the fragment of the composition. In 1605, they published the Quixote of ingenious gentleman Don Quixote of La Mancha. In 1614, an apocryphal second part of the novel appeared in which an author identified by the pseudonym of Alonso Fernandez in Avellaneda mocks the characters created by Cervantes. Subject. Don Quixote begins as a parody of novels of chivalry. The traditional hero was young, courageous, and considered. Don Quixote is an old man crazy and makes up his own rules. Its objectives are to fix the world. Type of narrator, it mixes several narrators. Type of character, Don Quixote as the main character and Sancho Panza as a secondary character.